everybody's life, they do something. They respond to a stimulus, and in that moment, we often can ask ourselves, am I overreacting? Am I overreacting, baby? Something like that. I don't know. You know what else too? Surprise microphone. All right, here we go. First question. 80 plus missed calls while sleeping from a woman I've been dating for only 5 months. I just came out to the hula hut to lay down. You gonna call me in a few? Good night. Sweet dreams. Yep, thanks. Can I ask you a question? Question mark. That's cool. Ignoring me or you are busy. This doesn't feel good at all. I need you to answer your phone, please. I've tried calling you for over an hour. It was important. Guess I can't count on you. I always answer when you call. Okay. So the expectation here, guy falling asleep gets, panicked, distressed call from woman. Let's continue. 18 calls here and then a private number. 3 calls there, 9 calls there. Private number. Guy says, I have never in all my days on earth ever seen 53 missed calls while sleeping, plus about 30 Facebook, Instagram calls. That's unhinged. Oh, I'm sorry. You were sleeping. My mom had tremors, got skunked in the hula hut. It doesn't matter. All good. I'll never bother you again. How about that? Oh, you're telling me I slightly inconvenienced you one time? How about I disappear from your life entirely? How about that? Yeah, that's not manipulative at all, is it? Is that a textbook manipulation tactic? Who's to say? Me, yes it is. Obviously you don't really care. Love that. I'm honestly in shock. Honestly, you should first ask why someone is trying to get a hold of you that many times! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I can't think of a single logical reason to call someone 80 times. I just told you, I guess you didn't read it. I said my mom had an episode with her tremors and I needed someone to talk to. I'm just trying to figure out how we ended up here. I tell you good night and wake up to you mad as a wet hen. Who are these people? Oh, hold on. Here we go. I'm 43. She's 53. Feel really uneasy about the situation. Makes me feel like I'm in danger. LOL. All right, cool. I don't know how to navigate that type of situation, he says. She says, I know you saw I called you. I said it was important. Guess that doesn't matter. You've called me at 1 or 2 in the morning and I've answered. Obviously, it was important or you wouldn't be calling. No. If you didn't answer, I wouldn't call 80 more times. This is a pattern with you. What does that mean? This is a pattern with you. She often calls you tens of times? Dozens of times? Spooky. You want to keep chastising me? Make you feel better? You haven't even asked how my mom is. That's tough, dude. You know, we've all been in that situation where we've gotten called a few times from somebody we didn't want to get called. There's a fine line between, like, if I'm really panicked, I will call somebody maybe 3 times in a row, and if they don't answer the 3rd time, I'm done. Right? But, you know, these people, they're in their 40s, 50s. Maybe back in the day when it was just a landline situation, you would call over and over again just in case they were outside or didn't hear you or something. So who knows? Maybe this is a habit that she has from the landline days. However, that is no excuse. Calling somebody 80 times after they told you they're going to sleep. Distressing, I would say. You wouldn't have to. My point exactly. So you wouldn't have to call 80 times. I'm done. Have to get ready for work. Try to have a good day. All right. So this guy is still saying decent stuff. Thanks for asking about my mom. Unbelievable. Tell your mom to call me. I'll ask her. That's really funny. Ha! Why would I do that when I'm nothing but a big secret to yours? You've never met my mother. Now you are calling me a liar. A liar? About what? Thought I would let you know the pups and I are home. Thumbs up. And then he sends her back some photo of something. She says, good night, handsome. Probably afraid to call. Good night, sweetheart. Honestly, I'm a little worried. Oh, so he's not. Okay, so he's not trying to call her. Please don't be. Don't be worried. Your voice at night before I fall asleep, I look forward to. No pressure. I care about you a lot, but getting over 50 calls while I was resting felt overwhelming. It made me worried, like something was wrong. But it also made me feel like I wasn't allowed to disconnect or sleep. I want us to be able to talk openly and support each other, but we also need to have healthy boundaries. I agree 100%. I don't ever want you to feel uncomfortable with me. I care about you a lot as well. Oh, really? Oh, 80 calls. If you don't want to talk and just say goodnight like this, I understand. Sweet dreams, mi temoso, or whatever. Mi tesoro. I'm going to find out what mi tesoro means. It means my treasure. Okay. Sweet dreams, my treasure. I'm not trying to avoid talking, just the opposite. I do want to say goodnight and keep things warm between us, but I also think it's important we talk about what happened, even if it's uncomfortable. This guy, dude, emotional intelligence through the roof. It really affected me, and I don't want to ignore it just to keep the peace. I know you don't like talking about things like this before you lay your head down to rest. Tomorrow we can talk about it. I know you've had a long day and want to be considerate. Yes, let's talk tomorrow when we're both more rested. I think it'll be good for us both. Sleep well. Sleep with the angels, handsome. And then this horror movie font. I really miss you. Wish I could hold you and kiss you. Good morning, sweetheart. So they're still on good terms. This is absolutely from Blair Witch Project. If somebody sent me this, I would assume it is a ghost from another dimension with unfinished business. Is this not Ghost Hunter's font? Literally? Like literally. Hold on. Look at that, dude. Look at that. That's like the same color palette and everything. That is so spooky. Yeah, 80 calls, not great. I wonder what would happen if you talked about it. But 80 calls, that is like an obsessive amount. Like after the 20th call, surely you would have been fatigued. 80 calls? And then saying you don't care about me because I called you 80 times? Like, I don't know. I could see like an old couple like in their 80s, 90s, you know, being about, oh man, she tried calling me 80 times one night. You remember that, sweetheart? She's like, yeah, wasn't that why? You know, like something young dummies do when they're like 18, 19, you know, right? But it's a digital age. You don't need to call people 80 times. They can see that you called. Let's see what people say. I can't tell you why she's like this or if it's on purpose or not, but I can tell you that her behavior is absolutely abnormal. No, you are not overreacting. I had an ex that was showing some crazy signs before we broke up, and when I finally left him for good, he blew up my phone like this. For weeks, I would come back to my phone and see hundreds of missed messages and dozens of missed calls. I think he thought if he kept doing it, eventually he'd have to get some kind of reaction out of me. He even started making suicidal threats at some point. Oh, goody. I don't believe it was originally about her mother because she wouldn't have led with, I have a question. If it had been about an emergency, somewhere in between the calls, she would have texted at least once saying, I'm worried about my mom, can you call me? Or something of that sort. Manipulative tactics. I also don't think this is isolated behavior because she didn't even apologize, barely, until you started to soften up a bit. When you were upset, she was indignant. So it doesn't seem like she actually sees the problem. I know she knows she got a reaction out of you and has convinced herself you'll be better next time. My verdict is not worth it. Yeah, absolutely not worth it. That is, that's a lot, my homie. 5 months of dating somebody, calling you 80 times. I mean, hey, it's up to you though. You know, it's up to you if you want to do that. That was an obsessive night of somebody who's not good at boundaries, and that's only going to get worse. She's absolutely unhinged. This would be a massive red flag if she were in her teens. She's obviously not, so this is either an untreated mental health issue or a new one. Either way, I'm sure that this is something and someone you do not need in your life. Not to be dramatic, but if you were a woman and she was a man, we'd be warning you to be careful, as in she sounds like stalker material. My understanding is that in the first few weeks can be the most dangerous, but I'd not only block her, but be wary for months, as in don't open the door to strangers, packages from strangers, or open the door to flower deliveries and such. I'd make my social media set to private, not do things like drive the same way and such for months. Yes, I sound dramatic, but she scares me. You don't have to take me seriously in how you choose to live, but absolutely break up with her. Be sure and take the fall and say she deserves someone who can be there for her and other such crap. Okay, so like say something that will soothe her ego. Oh, you deserve so much better than me. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a bit older than her, and this is absolutely unacceptable behavior on her part. This guy said, I broke it off just a bit ago and wished her well. My phone is exploding like Fallujah or Fallujah. I don't know. Send reinforcements. Okay, so he broke up with her. And get this, folks. There's an update. Well, this has escalated dramatically in the last 20 minutes. I got home after working and grabbing a bite. I get to my front door and see this card on the door right beside you. Is my favorite place to be. XOXO name. I am fully shitting my pants now. She drove 1.5 hours to come put that on my door. I also have a feeling she isn't gone. I guess the police are going to be getting involved now. Great. Police came and took a statement, looked at the text on the card, asked if there was anything else, and left within about 10 minutes. Didn't feel like they gave a single flying F to give. Update again. On Sunday, I might officially be cooked. I went out with friends last night. One of them showed me how to manually scan for trackers on my vehicle. We found 2 AirTags. You found 2 Apple AirTags to track your vehicle. Manual scan, check for trackers near you right now that you are separated from their owner. Manual scan results are not saved. Near you. 2 Apple AirTags. There is there's like duct tape here under his vehicle. Yeah. And there's an AirTag in there. So she's tracking you? Oh my God. What are you, a detective? He says, I've been thinking things over and I don't feel like this relationship is right for me anymore. I've tried to be honest and open about how I feel, and while I care about you and wish you the best, I need to step away from this for my own well-being. I'm not looking to argue or reopen things. I just want to be clear and respectful. I hope you take care of yourself. She responded, heart over text? Really? I think I deserve much more than that. It went from talking today to breaking up with me over text. I hope whoever you met makes me happy. Certainly it's not me and my own behavior. Certainly you must have met another woman, because I'm perfect. There's nothing I could do that's wrong. And that's not, she's going to go nuts after that. Top comment here says, get the police involved if it goes any farther. Just there's evidence of her lurking around your home. Be aware that since you're a man, they may try to downplay how you're feeling, saying you're more than capable of protecting yourself against a woman. They may say she hasn't done anything criminal and it's not a crime to text/call that many times or leave you notes. Indeed, none of that is a crime, but this is clearly unhinged behavior and you have no way of knowing it will escalate. In the current state of the U.S., any mentally unwell person can get their hands on a gun. Even a knife is deadly in the wrong scenario. Tell your trusted loved ones what's going on. Someone like this may reach out to them to find information about you. Yeah. Have we not also talked about the air tracking, the Apple AirTag thing? It's so weird. I think you can track somebody with your AirPods. I get messages on my phone saying like you might be tracked or whatever, and it's because my girlfriend's AirPods are in the car, or somebody's AirPods are in the car. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody has been tracking me. I have no idea. Why does it seem like the subtext of that message is being buried together? Oh, the one with the two dogs next to each other. Yeah, a little spooky, huh? Relationships are bad enough when one person is more into the other. Like that enough can make a relationship feel a little unbalanced, and oh, why don't you call me as much? But then 80 calls, and then she drove an hour and a half to leave something at your door, and then stick trackers on your car, and then an hour and a half back. She took 3 hours out of her day to come send you a message. Some people in general, when it comes to matters of the heart, some people think grand gestures are really romantic, and there's a fine line in these fictional stories of like a grand gesture of like winning the other person back. Like maybe if I drive all this way and stand in the rain and blah 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 and like play the song on the radio and lift it up above my head, they'll want me back finally. They'll see that I'm the one for them. Or maybe you look like a stalker and a weirdo, and none of that is cute. I feel like in the year of our Lord 2025, those grand gestures don't work like they used to. That card is there for the other woman she thinks you're seeing instead of her. Remember, she has bent herself into a pretzel, believing a whole other storyline at this point. She will not have yet accepted that her 80 phone calls were enough for any sane person to take pause. To give her some credit, menopause is a frickin' trip. She could be experiencing all sorts of hormonal turmoil, but this is not for you to solve. Some great advice already in the thread. Hey, if you thought you've been a weirdo in the past, take a look at that. That should make you feel better about any mistakes you've made in the past. Sometimes it's good to see other people make major mistakes, because then it eases your mind on the way that you were in the past. Just a little bit. Okay, let's do this one. Was this an overreaction about me ordering DoorDash while babysitting? Wanted to see what time you guys will be here since you said 8 o'clock earlier. Great. We are taking the 10:30 train, so we should be home at 11:30. All right, so babysitter thought people would be home at 8. They're going to be home at 11:30. That's 3.5 extra hours. Okay, no problem. See you at 11:30. Hey, our ring just showed someone at the door. Was something delivered? Yes, I didn't eat dinner, so I ordered DoorDash. Okay, we'll talk when we get home, but I'm really concerned that you would do that without asking first. I would never be okay with a stranger coming to the door while my kids are sleeping. I really wish you had asked me before doing that. Please check to make sure the storm door is locked and the chain is locked as well since you opened them. Okay, so they're paranoid that a delivery driver came? All right. You think a somebody working DoorDash or Uber Eats is about to like rob your house? Have you never had DoorDash or Uber Eats? I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I just hadn't eaten since lunch and I thought you'd be done by 8 like you mentioned. I started getting a headache and really needed to eat something. I've ordered food before while babysitting and it's never been a problem, so I didn't think it would be an issue. They left it at the door and I waited until they were gone before I went out to grab it and locked all the doors the way they were when I came back in. Yeah, like a normal, sane person usually does. And also at any point, a stranger can come up to your house. Whether you delivered something or not, a complete stranger, a solicitor, somebody can go to your house when you're away. Life happens. Why are you being so paranoid? I get that you were hungry, but it's more about the fact that someone came to my door without my knowledge and you left them in the house alone while you grabbed it. Left the baby in the house alone while you opened the door and grabbed the food. Huh? What do you think the better move is? Would you rather had grabbed the baby and walked outside with the baby? Do you think that's safer? What is this? If something had happened, it just makes me really nervous. Like what? You should have eaten from the cabinet. This is my home and my kids, and I need to be able to fully trust who's there. We will talk later. Just please double check the doors. Paranoid. You're paranoid. Paranoid. Look, being a mom, I imagine your brain comes up with crazy scenarios all the time. That's the beauty of having a PFC, baby. That is a prefrontal cortex. That's the thing right here behind your forehead. Okay, it's the frontal lobe. It is a simulator. It is a simulating machine. Your prefrontal cortex, the reason why us human beings are so advanced is because we can simulate the future. And sometimes your prefrontal cortex misfires, or, well, not misfires, it's doing its job, but it's giving you simulations. It's simulating disasters. And so you got an overactive prefrontal cortex triggered by fear of losing your baby. And in that overactive prefrontal cortex, you are picturing a delivery person, such as a DoorDash driver coming to your house, seeing that, oh, this must be the babysitter, this must not be the mom, and they must be home all alone. And as soon as they open the door, I'm going to jump in there with the order, and I'm gonna steal the baby, and I'm gonna sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $50. I'm gonna haggle with somebody on Facebook Marketplace to meet them in a McDonald's parking lot to get $50 for me to fill up my gas tank and get a Colt 45. Colt 45. What is a Colt 45? Hold on. Yeah, the malt liquor. Yeah. I meant that. No, I don't think this person is overreacting. I will say that this person in green here, texting, is very communicative, which tells me they're a great babysitter, and they're used to somewhat, paranoid parents. They're going through all the steps. They're being like, I did this, I made sure I did this, I made sure I did that, and this and that. Will do. I do apologize, but I honestly didn't think it would be a problem. I'm always hyper aware of safety and would never do anything that I felt put the kids in my care at risk. Very, very amazing communication from the person in green here. I love somebody being that specific. I ordered DoorDash while babysitting because I hadn't eaten since lunch and was getting a headache, and they were 2 hours late. The kids were asleep, the food was left on the porch, and I stepped outside for 10 seconds to grab it. The mom told me she was uncomfortable that someone came to the door and that I left the kids alone. When I got home, I was told they can't trust me anymore, and I was fired. I feel for the husband a little bit here. If you're the father of the child and the mom is like, we got to get rid of that babysitter, all you can do is be like, yeah, okay, But him hearing, yeah, she ordered DoorDash and went outside and grabbed the DoorDash, and what would have happened to the baby if she... God forbid a person eat food. Mind you, this is someone who found me on Facebook, barely asked me anything before hiring me, and had no issue leaving her 2 kids under 2 years old with a total stranger, but a food delivery on the porch is somehow a big deal? Yeah, inconsistent behavior is wild to me. It's inconsistent belief systems. Somebody who's unpredictable and will say, this is my belief system about this thing, and then change their behavior or show you that they're capable of other types of thinking. Those people are called hypocrites. She hired you on Facebook, minimal checking, minimal asking you questions, and wanted you, a complete stranger, to take care of the children's. This comment has 22,000 likes. It says, one time I babysat for people who found out that I went downstairs after they're putting their kid to sleep upstairs. And not only did they fire me, but they talked smack about me to the other clients, and I lost a couple of jobs because of it. I did not understand. I had a baby cam. Why would I need to be on the same floor as them? I now have my own kids, and I can't believe I went through that. I definitely put my kids to bed on other floors in my house and go about my business. People are nuts. I'm way too anxious about my siblings' kids when I'm babysitting, and my siblings are always like, chill out, the kids will be fine, and exploring is great. That's how they grow. And even in my anxious brain, I cannot imagine caring that the kids are asleep on a different floor. My sister always reminds me that if kids' parents are too anxious about these sort of things, they're going to instill this anxiety in their children. And that's running through my brain here. The kids of those people who fired you for going downstairs with a baby cam while the kids were sleeping upstairs are going to be messed up. Yeah, that's true. I think they did a study. I'm gonna butcher this, but they did some kind of study where a mother was anxious and her heart rate was up and she was sweaty and all that kind of stuff. And then they had a mother who was calm, and then they measured the stress response of each baby, the one with the calm mother and the one with the anxious mother, and the babies had sympathetic stress responses. They were feeding off of the mother's emotions, and they were replicating that emotional state. And this is why I'm telling you, your environment is extremely, extremely important. And if you can control that in any way to where you can feel just a little bit more peaceful than today, to shed one burden, do what you can to shed one burden. Can I get an amen? Amen. They are majorly overreacting. You didn't leave them alone while you got your food. You opened the door, grabbed it, and then locked everything behind you. I wouldn't babysit for them again over this. They need to trust the people in their house, and also no one can walk by it or come to their door and leave food. Especially because they were late. You shouldn't have to settle for their crappy pantry food just because they're afraid someone was near their front door. Tell them you're uncomfortable with their strict, overbearing rules, and tell all your friends. If she sees this post, she'll probably be pissed that someone saw a screenshot of the words she typed. Sheesh. Rough. Am I overreacting for him texting this girl? Theme song. Am I overreacting, baby? Oh, okay, I can't now. Guess who showed up? Jesus, I wish. No, my wife did. The funniest part is that she thinks every white woman with blonde hair is you whenever I use my phone. That was my next guess. What do you mean? You text a lot of white girls with blonde hair? No. I can be on YouTube and she'll say that's you. You literally live rent-free in her head. Pause. We got a man here hyping up another woman that she lives rent-free in his wife's head. So what I'm seeing here is this guy is trying to impress this woman by being like, yeah, you're irritating my old ball and chain. Good for you, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're really pissing her off. Yeah, you're pissing her off. Isn't that nice? Then stop texting me and upsetting her. I sent an Uber to pick up Chester. I don't know what that's about, but he did a little frowny face here. Okay, shout out to this woman. Then stop texting me and upsetting her. Yeah, okay, then leave me alone. This other person is at least giving him an out, then stop doing it. And it looks like he doesn't want to. Did you get home? Yeah, just now. Oh, my wife was cock-watching like crazy. Looked at my phone more than the effing movie. T, and then something here. T is also such a funny, response like, oh, T? That's this girl's version of, that's crazy. Why are you Dude, people who complain about their spouse, about their partner, what's wrong with you? If you're with somebody and you make a habit to complain about your partner, especially to another woman, what are you doing? Just end it. If you're willing to complain to others about your significant other, you should not be in that relationship. Because complaining about your partner only looks bad for you. Not only is it obviously supremely disrespectful, you boil it all down, you distill it down, it makes you very unlikable because you are complaining about somebody that you chose to be your partner, and yet you're still there. Obviously, if you are in a domestic violence situation or you're in a more precarious situation, sure, that's one thing, right? And seeking approval or support from your friends, that is a completely different situation that I'm talking about. In this situation where you are just because you want to complaining about your spouse or your partner, all you are doing, my friend, is you are advertising that you are a weak individual who can't handle yourself. You're lame. This is you saying, hey, I'm lame, just so you know. Hey, I'm lame, dude. Okay, but when he calls you pretty, you're happy. But anyway, corporate is crazy. Okay, so you're throwing a very specific thing. You're talking about a very specific example of when you called her pretty. And then he did a little throw and go action. He threw, oh yeah, okay. I wish you reacted differently when I called you pretty. Anyway, corporate is crazy. He's doing a move. He wants her because you're married. What? I work in corporate. LMAO, you have a way better corporate job than most corporations, hybrid with benefits, and you work for a DILF. Okay. Maybe I can bring my plants and some more clothes, but that's not much. I don't mind helping if it takes less time. Maybe Thursday. Okay. So helping her move. I haven't decided if I'm going in that day. The DILF is going to be there, so maybe. JK, kinda. Who's the DILF? Another guy or him? LMAO, just let me know. I'm usually free after 3. The DILF is free after 10:30 p.m. Okay, I have meetings till 3 anyway, so maybe I'll move some stuff after that. JK. Okay, my boss just messaged me, sir, I'm at a bar. Can this wait, bruh? So they're just messaging. They're messaging each other a lot. Oh, and I know that the person taking these pictures was livid because this is 2:51 a.m. So you're up at 2 in the morning scrolling through these messages until 3:25. So you've had your suspicions and you've been going through this man's phone for 40 minutes. My lady, my woman, doing this, going through this man's phone. Let it go. You don't need to be on Reddit. Looking for affirmation that this is no bueno. Has he physically done something with her? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's trying to do something, and it looks like he's being turned down, or at least suppressed by this other person. I don't think this girl is interested in him, which is hysterical to me. A guy is trying his very best to get her to break, and she's like, then stop texting me to upset her. Let's read their side of the story. Let's read. Hi, y'all. I'm coming on here because maybe I'm stupid, need a reality check, or all around need to hear it differently. My fiance, who likes to call me wife already, and we have a young kid, is overly generous and always gifting food or drinks to his staff. Oh, he works in a restaurant. He annoys me with this because his friends are always used to him paying for things. He's part of management now, and he keeps contact with a regular female staff member who's probably worked a year in the store. The work environment is apparently casual, but when I read their messages together, it's clear they're becoming more than coworkers. I don't know. I think he's trying and she's resistant. They're way too close and text like they're flirty and fun at each other. He's also been telling this girl about my dysfunctional family and how I'm apparently not good housewife material. Awful. I believe this started after a late night dinner with coworkers in January, and they've been texting on the reg. He admitted he wants to help her move to a new apartment this week and told me it'll be another coworker moving, or there will be another coworker with him. That's what I think it is. I asked what was going on with her since I screen peeked his phone, but when I checked his phone later on, I didn't see who he mentioned saying they were going, and someone else wasn't going to help after all. Oh, so it's just him. What makes me more concerned is the girl likes to talk about the men she works with as DILFs at her second job, and he's excited over it because he's a father. He's already crossed the line before at his job, and I thought we were past this since we had a conversation. What does that mean? What is that context? He's already crossed the line before at his job? What do you mean by that? In what way? What way? But he's fooling around again, and I'm thinking of leaving with our child for good because I think some people already know and are just keeping their mouths closed. I've been too nice and been too disrespected. I also think he has people or other managers who will cover up for him or back him up if something gets uncovered, but I want to see him get consequences, so I might report it to his company for the heck of it once I leave. He's obviously being freaking weird. Super disrespectful towards you directly, meaning he's complaining about you to a female coworker, and he keeps mentioning DILFs and stuff like that, and he's making a move on her. He's for sure making a move. He's trying to see where her boundaries are at. He's trying to see if he can, wiggle her one direction or the other. And the worst part of all of this is a part of his tactic is to be directly disrespectful about you. God, that sucks, man. Unfortunately, you can't choose a different father for this kid, but what you can do is get out of that situation. You can choose to not be disrespected anymore. Call the engagement off. This is not a forever partner. First of all, the fact that he told her that she lives rent-free in your head as his wife and you are checking over his shoulder or spying on him in their conversation because you're obsessed with her is absolutely 1,000% unacceptable and unhinged. That is such a violation in and of itself. Moreover, his texts to her were completely inappropriate under any circumstances, even though she made a point to mention that he was married. At this point, he has no business speaking with the woman in this way anyways. Regardless, he certainly doesn't need to be the one to help her move. That is not his problem, nor is it your problem. And if he wasn't an idiot and was able to show some faithfulness and commitment to his marriage, maybe that would be different, but no, he couldn't even do that. I would be seriously considering being at least on a break, if not separation, after this myself, personally. This just broke serious trust that you two had between each other because you chose to actively be pursuing this other woman. And for now, you're lucky that she's turning him down, but you don't know how long that will last, or if another woman who's not so easily swayed, what the is this sentence? Yes, this comment is what would make me leave him. The amount of disrespect, are you kidding me? He was hoping she would reply with something negative so he could continue to talk crap about his wife like she's his overbearing mother or something. Instead, she replied saying he shouldn't be texting her, and then you can tell that's not the response he was hoping for. At least she keeps shooting him down, but he's a huge POS. I have no doubts that if she's escalated the flirting, he would cheat. I'm so sorry, Op. Yeah, he's trying to get permission, and it is not happening. Girl, please leave now. I hate to say it, but your fiance is a sexual harasser. Oh, that is harassment, isn't it? He's coming on hard to an employee who sounds like she's trying to fend him off, calling him a cheater, talking about how attractive another guy is. That's true. Yes, she's trying to misdirect. She's like, oh yeah, Dilf works that shift, so I want to go check out, that guy. Clue, clue, clue. Hint, hint, hint. T. Am I right? Huh? All right. I wouldn't just leave him. I would report his ass to his boss and his work's HR once you have child support locked down. His comment about multiple blonde white women texting him also suggests that he's pursuing other women besides you and her. Honestly, the I can't now guess who showed up is sketchy AF just on its own. God, I hate that. That's so weird. Fun? Is that a fun thing to do? To talk negatively about your partner? Why is that something you enjoy? Not only is it like you're trying to cheat, but you're also bullying your partner without their knowledge of it. For them to discover later, the mother of your child. I hate it. You know what, folks? Real quick, a little bit of eye bleach. Just for us. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Cows are my favorite animal. Ah! I want to feel it's a little scruffy. Oh, look at the fluffy ears, dude. Look at the little fluffy ears. Oh my gosh. Oh, I just want to hug it. I just want to go over it and hug it like this. Just hug it like a big old pillow. Highland cow, baby. Wow. In all of these circumstances, no, these people were not overreacting. If you ever feel like you are complaining more than normal, or if you're catching yourself complaining about something, I want you to take a second and think, can I take any of this energy that I'm putting towards complaining about something and put it into action in any way to alleviate my situation at all? You'll oftentimes find that maybe there is a way. Yeah. Outro!